You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
I swear, keeping up with product design tools right now feels like a full-time job itself.
Oh, tell me about it.
You look away for 5 minutes and boom! Figma's migrated its entire code base to run on, I don't know, Fusion power.
Right.
And then Microsoft Paint just casually adds layers.
Yeah, MS Paint finally growing up. It's wild.
If you don't have a dedicated map for the current tech landscape, you are definitely getting lost.
It's not just iteration anymore, is it? It feels more like a foundational reset happening at hyperspeed.
Yeah, the ground designer's stand-on is shifting, like daily.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So today we're going to attempt an in-depth exploration of the current state of product design and the foundational technology changes that are really rewriting the professional rules.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at two massive interconnected forces, these kind of invisible performance upgrades under the hood of our favorite tools.
Right.
And the truly existential career questions they raise, like what happened to the entry-level design job? Is it just gone?
It's a critical analysis because the change isn't just skin deep. It's architectural. It's under the hood of the tools we use every day.
Which then demands, a complete rethinking of career strategy, maybe even business model.
Exactly. It's all connected.
Okay, let's start right there. Where the rubber meets the road. The underlying engine. Everyone uses Figma, right?
Pretty much.
But I bet few understand the truly massive technical lift they just pulled off. They completely overhauled their rendering engine.
Yeah, they moved from WebGL to WebGPU.
WebGPU, okay.
And if that just sounds like, technical alphabet soup to you listening.
Which it kind of does to me.
Fair enough. But so what's crucial? The old way, WebGL, it was sequential, like do this graphics thing, then the next, then the next.
One after another.
Right. WebGPU, however, lets them process loads of those instructions all at the same time, in parallel.
Okay, so why? Why go through that colossal engineering headache? What's the big payout for the average designer just trying to make a button?
Future-proofing, honestly. This new plumbing, this system that can handle parallel compute stuff, it's the groundwork they needed to lay.
Needed for what, though?
For more sophisticated AI capabilities later on, things like compute shaders, it basically ensures Figma stays ahead, ready for the next, decade of performance and features.
Gotcha. So it's a long-term play.
A very long-term, very necessary play.
And speaking of AI integration, Figma's also been making nice with the coding world, haven't they? Making their tools more accessible to AI agents.
Yes, using the Model Context Protocol, or MCP server.
MCP server.
Right. And what's fascinating here really is that this isn't just about sharing a flat image like a PNG or even just a visually accurate mockup. No. By expanding this MCP server access, they are allowing major AI models, think Anthropic, Cursor, VS Code.
The big players.
The big players, yeah, to access the design file as logic and code, not just pixels on a screen.
Well, okay, so the AI can read the design file and say, oh, this is a button component, it has these specific properties, rather than just, I see a blue rectangle with the word submit.
Exactly right. It fundamentally starts to bridge that design-to-code gap we always talk about.
Oh, so?
Because the handoff process can become programmatic. A developer working in, say, an AI coding tool like Cursor can interact with the design file almost instantly, efficiently. It bypasses a lot of the old manual documentation bottlenecks.
Wow. So the architectural decisions Figma's making now directly impact whether a developer in VS Code can, talk to a designer in Figma effectively next year.
That's it. It's a serious strategic investment.
And we are seeing the downstream effects of this kind of acceleration everywhere, aren't we? Even in software that historically moved at a glacial pace.
Absolutely. The Pro Tools accelerate, and eventually everyone else kind of gets dragged along. Look at Microsoft Paint.
I know. We mentioned it.
It's finally growing up. Project files, layers, opacity sliders. Just like Photoshop, basically.
I swear I have friends who built their entire early careers using, elaborate workarounds in MS Paint just a couple of years ago.
Oh, totally. This is truly the end of an era for those folks.
It really is. And on the consumer side, Google Chrome for iOS just got that liquid glass design refresh.
Yeah, I saw that. Refreshed tab grid, more rounded corners. Looks nice.
And Google Labs dropped Mixboard. Did you see that?
The AI design board thing.
It lets users generate and organize visual concepts using their new image model. It feels like a super fast fig jam powered by AI for quick concepting.
Like an AI brainstorming partner.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, okay, that's the technical foundation racing ahead. Now let's dive into the implications, because this tech acceleration is hitting the career structure like a wrecking ball.
Mm-hmm.
And the first major casualty seems to be the traditional design agency model itself. Some are saying it's fundamentally broken.
Yeah, that's a strong argument being made. The core idea is that historically, clients understood they could only pick 2 out of 3. Cheap, fast, or high quality, pick 2.
The classic triangle.
Mm-hmm. The classic triangle. But AI potentially obliterates that constraint. It enables work that could be cheap, fast, and high quality all at the same time.
So the standard agency business model, the one built on complex processes and hourly billing for lots of people.
It starts to look obsolete, or at least really inefficient.
So what's the survival plan being floated? The alternative?
It's being called the anti-design agency approach.
Anti-design agency, okay.
This model basically says, lean all the way into AI tools, operate with total transparency about how you're using them, and crucially, charge lower prices because the efficiency gains demand it.
Pass the savings on.
Exactly. Maximize throughput, pass savings to the client, and basically undercut traditional agencies that are still trying to justify legacy pricing structures.
But hang on a second. If the solution is just use AI, charge less, doesn't that risk fundamentally devaluing design work across the board? Are we just creating a race to the bottom?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It definitely redefines the market. And yes, there's a risk. The value has to shift entirely away from just doing the execution, the basic stuff, and move towards strategy, towards distinctiveness, towards problem solving.
So if you're just cranking out basic wireframes.
You are probably in a race to the bottom, yeah. AI can do that. But if you're solving complex, high-level business problems using design thinking, that's different.
Okay, that makes sense. Which brings us to maybe the toughest, most existential question facing people trying to get into the field now. What happens when that traditional junior design job just disappears? AI, budget cuts, remote work.
Yeah.
They all seem to be eroding that structured apprenticeship model we kind of relied on.
It's created what some are calling the entry-level void.
The void. That sounds bleak.
It kind of is. Since AI can handle more of the basic production work, the industry maybe doesn't need quite as many hands for those simpler tasks anymore.
So what do newcomers do?
They have to rely much more heavily on, well, things like unpaid gigs, intense cold outreach, building entirely self-driven projects just to get noticed. And while AI can accelerate learning certain skills, there's a risk it weakens the core creative foundations because this new path requires immense persistence and self-direction. It's much harder.
That sounds incredibly stressful. Just having to forge that path entirely on your own. But okay, let's shift focus slightly. For the individual freelancer who has managed to adapt, what's their most powerful weapon? It's apparently not raw talent.
No, surprisingly, it seems to be communication.
Really? Just talking to people.
Well, yeah, but good communication. Freelance success seems to hinge less on a pixel-perfect portfolio, which AI can help generate anyway now, and more on consistent, clear, respectful communication.
Building trust, basically.
Exactly. Setting clear expectations, maintaining regular contact that builds the deep trust that sustains client relationships, sometimes for decades. The human element becomes the key differentiator.
And strategically, there's this idea of focusing on right-sized projects. This feels really actionable for listeners.
Absolutely. This is super practical. The idea is to deliver, say, 10 times the return on investment, 10x ROI. But by charging the client only about 10% of the value you create.
You mean an example?
Okay. You approach a client, propose a small, focused project. Maybe you charge, say, $1,000.
Right.
But you structure it so you can clearly demonstrate that your work will generate measurable results worth at least $10,000, either in new revenue or cost savings.
I see. Start small, prove massive value quickly.
Precisely. You deliver those outsized results fast, build that trust account, and then you can scale up to a more strategic, ongoing partnership. It shifts the whole conversation away from hours spent towards value delivered.
Okay, so the execution speed is going through the roof, thanks to things like WebGPU and easier AI access.
Definitely.
But that just means the need for strategic systemic thinking becomes even more critical, right?
Okay.
Designers have to move beyond just intuition. They need to be genuine strategic partners.
Absolutely. To manage the speed and complexity, you need a solid strategic toolkit. The focus should be on frameworks that force structure and strategic alignment.
So instead of just listing a bunch of them, which ones are maybe the most vital right now? in this accelerated landscape?
Good question. I'd argue object-oriented UX and the business model canvas are indispensable right now.
Okay, OOUX first. Why that one?
OOUX, or object-oriented UX, is essential because when design speeds up this much, you risk creating fragmented, messy, inconsistent systems very quickly.
Yeah, I can see that.
Think of OOUX as like designing the Lego blocks first, instead of trying to design the finished castle straight away. It forces you to define repeatable, scalable, manageable digital objects and their relationships. It builds coherence.
Okay. Structured thinking for the system itself and the business model canvas.
That one connects your design decisions directly to tangible business outcomes.
The money part.
The money part, the value part, yeah. A designer who can use the canvas to clearly articulate how a new feature connects to, say, a specific revenue stream or a key cost reduction.
It's no longer just seen as a cost center, a pixel pusher.
Exactly. They become a strategic decision maker, someone who can confidently influence product direction and justify their role and their recommendations in business terms.
That kind of structural thinking applies not just to the UX itself, but to the whole creative process, doesn't it? We touched on quality earlier.
Yeah.
It's not something you just sprinkle on at the end.
No, definitely not. Quality really emerges from well-designed systems and processes. When the systems themselves encourage excellence, collaboration, clarity, when it's built into every checkpoint.
Then teams can move fast without sacrificing the standards.
Right. And this connects directly to branding, too. James Greenfield from Koto, the branding agency, argues that strong branding requires distinctiveness. Your work has to feel uncopyable.
Uncopyable, I like that.
Yeah. It needs to be rooted deeply in the specific culture and business realities of that client to be memorable and trusted, especially in the super-saturated, increasingly AI-driven environment.
That uncopyable idea feels critical, especially when we circle back to AI adoption, because the final strategic piece here has to be trust, right? And we at Vocal Technologists often talk about this balance. You shouldn't blindly trust these new tools, but you obviously can't ignore them either.
Precisely. The goal isn't blind faith, and it's not blanket distrust either. It's what researchers call calibrated trust.
Calibrated trust. Okay, what does that mean in practice?
It means designing interfaces and systems that clearly, honestly communicate the limitations and the capabilities of the AI involved.
So the user knows exactly when and how much to rely on it.
Yes, they can make an informed decision about the level of trust warranted in that specific situation.
So what are the key components, the things we need to design for to achieve that calibrated trust? There were 4, I think.
Yeah, 4 key things to consider when designing AI interactions. Its ability, can it actually do the task accurately? Its benevolence, is it acting in the user's best interest, or does it have other motives?
Okay, ability, benevolence.
Its integrity, is it honest? Is it ethical in its output and its processes? And finally, its predictability, will it perform consistently, or is it erratic?
Ability, benevolence, integrity, predictability.
Got it. If users feel the AI is reliable and transparent across those dimensions, they'll trust it appropriately for the task at hand.
And there's a serious ethical warning sign here for UX professionals, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. UX folks need to be strong advocates for genuinely trustworthy systems, and they need to actively avoid trust washing.
Trust washing. Like greenwashing, but for trust.
Exactly. Manipulating users into having false confidence about an AI system's capabilities or its ethical grounding. Transparency is absolutely non-negotiable when you're dealing with these complex, often probabilistic systems.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a huge amount of ground today, a massive transformation. We saw the foundational tech racing ahead, Figma, shifting to WebGPU, making AI access universal through MCP.
Yeah, the plumbing upgrades.
Then we saw the professional landscape fracturing, creating that entry-level void, giving rise to the hyper-efficient anti-design agency model.
The career impact.
And finally, we highlighted this critical rising demand for strategic systemic thinking, using frameworks like OOUX and the business model canvas, building cultures rooted in quality and that idea of calibrated trust.
It all ties together.
It does.
Yeah.
And if we connect all these threads back to the bigger picture, we're left with this this massive paradox, aren't we?
How so?
Well, AI is radically accelerating the creation of content, the execution of tasks. It's raising the floor for basic competence globally.
Making good enough easier to achieve.
Right. So if AI can now handle, say, 90% of the execution, the mock-ups, the basic production, busy work, all that stuff,
Sure.
then the only real value left, the thing that commands a premium, it shifts entirely to that distinctive, uncopyable quality you mentioned.
Yeah.
The human insight, the unique perspective.
The strategy, the taste, the truly novel idea. your value shifts completely from the labor to the insight.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So this leaves a really important question for you, the listener, to consider. How do you ensure your work is truly uncopyable?
Yeah.
When the incredibly powerful new tools you rely on, the ones doing more and more of the execution, are also available instantly, universally, to everyone else on the planet.
What does originality even mean in an era of universal, high-quality acceleration?
A perfect and maybe slightly uncomfortable thought to mull over as you figure out how to integrate these new strategies into your own professional life.
A challenge for sure.
Thanks for joining us for this exploration of the design landscape. We'll see you next time.
Spoken Tech for your ears.